And it touched the phobia and the knee.
This is May 22nd, 1991.
What would you say?
Sitting with the Bible room, UNR.
Nobody wanted to do it, and yet everybody.
Oh, the birthdays of our children, huh?
You must have written down them, but
As old as I am, you know.
you can remember, huh?
That was quite
No, the
a
sad thing, the girl that
task.
came and asked her to dance,
I wouldn't be
we
able
met
to
her
do
at lunch today. I didn't see anybody turn it off.
You
may be on video, you know.
Well, that's all right. They
Great.
can
Say who you are and he could get you, and so then for later, people will know who you are. Would you like to start, Dolores?
All
right.
My name is Delores Peggy Petty. I was born in Yorba Linda, California. I'm 59 years old. I'm the youngest of 10. And I have lucky enough this afternoon to have 4 of my sisters with me, and my brother and my husband. Thank you.
My name is Angie Holt. I was born in 1915, makes me 75 years old. I'm speechless for a change.
Where were you born?
We were all born in Yorba Linda, California, and I have lived throughout the world. I have been fortunate to have, my husband was with the State Department, so I had the privilege of living in Turkey, and I had the privilege of living in Taiwan, and I have had the good fortune to visit the best, actually 6 times, visit 5 times, and drive through once.
Okay.
I'm Margaret Apalategui, better known as Midge, number 8 in the line, and I was born in Yorba Linda on October 3rd, 1926. My claim to fame? I'm the Nessa of the household.
Nessa.
That's it.
Nurse.
Nessa. Nurse.
That's what Mama used to always say, Nessa.
You knew that.
Pardon me?
You knew that, Shkaras.
You knew that? You knew that?
Well, I was born October 23rd. And you are? I'm the oldest in the family. 1914 I was born.
Your name is?
My name is Catherine Apalategui Trafalgar.
Okay,
How
we
far do
need
you want to go?
to ask the mother's maiden name as well. Mother's name, father's name, and all that.
My maiden name, you mean?
Mother's name.
My mother's
You
name.
can tell,
Yeah.
you can mention that.
Okay. Margaret Muno was our mother, and Frank Apalategui was our father. Francisco, really, is what we call him. He was gone by.
Where was he from?
He was from Irún, España.
And she was?
from Ahach, France country. I've had 6 children, a pair of twins in there, because that's my fame. I've been married almost 56 years. That's quite a bit for today, too.
Yes.
If I think about it. Yeah.
That's like living 100 years.
Yeah. At least, huh? I have no special qualifications that I can think of, except that I tried to be a good mother and a good wife. I worked a lot out of the home and worked a lot in the home, but I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm Grace Apalategui Dawson, and I'm the one that lives away, one of the girls that lives away from the tribe, but I only live about 50 miles north of Los Angeles, and they live about 50 miles south of Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is kind of a barrier because there's so much traffic, so I was born March 1st, 1919, and I'm 4th in line of this tribe, born between 2 brothers, so
But most of us were born between two brothers. I'm not sure what that means.
I'm the only odd one.
I've had,
Frank's here.
yeah, I've had 3 children, and they're all living close to me. I have 2 grandchildren. Well, I have more than 2 grandchildren, but right now I have 2 young grandchildren, which I take care of most of the time, so my kids can work. My one daughter lives in New York, and her children, my grandchildren there, the youngest one is in college. So there's a big gap. That's about it. My hobbies are, I love to garden, I like to sew, I like to knit, and mostly what I like to do, I really like to do. That's about it.
I'm Frank Apalategui, born July 31st of 1920. I was number 5 in the family. I met my wife here at the university after World War II. 1945-46 I was here. We were married in 46, and we're still married. And we had 5 children. We lost 1 son, June the 1st, 1983. The other 4 children all live here in Nevada. My wife and I, we just retired, and we now live in Medford, Oregon. So I think that's about it.
You want me to?
You're an adopted bastard.
You didn't expect to hear, you didn't expect this, did you?
No, I didn't. My name is Bill Petty. I'm married to the youngest of this family, Delores, Apalategui Petty. And
That's it right there, huh? Okay.
I was born in Oklahoma, July 13th, 1927. And my parents came to California when I was 3 years old. And my father saw all this sunshine, and he never went back. So that's, and we've had 3 sons. And we live in Southern California, and always have. And I spent most of my life working for an oil company, Union Oil Company, in the area. And we live out in a nice area, and half-acre, nice home we have.
That's outside
in Villa Park.
LA?
Yes, that's, well, it's 5 miles from Disneyland now. That's the way I usually tell people where we live. That's, everybody knows that. And our house seems to be a focal point for gatherings for this family. And last year we had a family reunion and had 90-some people there in this family, and that wasn't all of them. Had all the brothers and sisters, and a good portion
Only
of
our
the
side besides.
right. Oh yes, just and
So now I understand why you say tribe.
yeah, it's quite a few people. We had
That's one
it
of the better
lasted.
names, that's one of the better names he calls us.
Yeah, right.
Who is the young of the tribe?
The youngest.
No, the young would be the head one, and the
Yeah.
young would be Catherine, I would say. Wouldn't that be the?
Oh, young, I thought you said
Oh.
young.
Oh,
Oh, skoro mi to se naisido mine.
Yeah. I would say Catherine is the young.
Well, the chieftain, that's what I should say.
What am I supposed to say?
She is really the.
Catherine's the
I'm the
Catherine is the
young,
chief.
young, oh, I'm the chief, yes. You know,
And
I
do you
don't do
have,
anything about it, but I am.
is there a female yawn around? Because you're yawn, so usually yawns are male.
Young, young,
Andrea.
This one,
Frank,
no, John is.
John's our older brother.
Oldest brother, and he's at home, I mean, he's not here.
He would be the one.
Yeah, sure.
Our oldest brother is the one that if we
Yeah.
ever have any definite problems, that we would go to more than we would to Frank. He's always lived a distance, and our brother John has always taken it upon himself to, when we lost our father, to handle our mother's affairs and see that everyone else stayed in line.
He makes that
Very
effort.
nicely though, but he did. At least I always looked up to him as one that I
You
obeyed.
could depend on him.
I depend, yes, depend is a real good word. You can always depend on him, and you have obeyed what he considered was a correct thing to do. A good guide.
He financially supervised everything after our mother died. That's right, I hadn't thought about that, but he really did. He handled all the finances and all. He was a young, all right.
And he was very young at the
He
time.
was always so fair. This is the thing, no one ever questioned his fairness, because he was always so.
Very much a mathematician, and mathematicians are usually.
Yeah, he's an engineer.
So it was a granted leadership granted rather than acquired? Or
Some of those things. I think so. I think you could say that.
He took it for granted and he
took it for
accepted it.
granted.
He probably never even wanted it. It was just one of those things that he
He
received.
accepted the responsibility, sure.
He assumed it, and
Yeah.
we let him out of it, because no one else wanted it.
But also, everyone cooperated.
That's right.
And that is a great thing. My brother that we're talking about, after he retired from his line of work, he became a deacon in the Catholic Church, and so you can see the type of person he is and was. He's always been responsible. I don't know that we've ever told him. But he was. He is.
He was surprised to hear it.
Very fine person. And everybody needs that kind of a build-up when we don't tell each other.
Maybe I'd like to talk about your parents, what you remember about your parents, what you miss about your parents, that sort of thing. Memories
Well,
you
they've
have.
both been gone for so long that we're finally getting used to it all. Our father has been gone 47.
He died in 1947.
Yeah, well, it was 44 years. 44 years, and our mother's been gone 21 years. They were very special, naturally, to us. Our mother used to tell us a lot of things about the her Basque home days, a lot of the things that Jose said, we heard too. And our father farmed most of the time in East Yorba Linda. He farmed hay and the oats and barley. And then he bought an 8-acre orchard of citrus trees later in life, around that same time that he did both at one time. And we always, like my sister Angie tells us, we always felt rather on the poor side, but we didn't know any better. We didn't know it. We had those 8 acres to roam around in. We certainly were better off than a lot of the kids of today. We had the streets to roam in. And we had all the oranges we ever wanted to eat. Lots of times to be running down our arms.
Good way to get clean, you know.
When we hoed weeds and things like that.
Midge is remembering about the Slotto orange in the orchard.
We had our favorite trees even, where we picked special oranges from special trees. And we were just commenting last night that we didn't know where the word smato came from. Frank, do you know?
No, I don't.
If we picked an orange
made
on
it up.
a special tree and half the stem stayed, that was a smato orange. So we had a tree labeled a smato orange tree.
Navel,
Down
orange
at the base
navel.
of the navels, one of the two.
I don't recall that at all.
You don't remember
Throwing
smato?
lemons out.
I do.
I remember the navel orange trees, we had 2 of them.
I think it's interesting that our father had an enormous personality. He had a great personality, and he he was not a bit Akatia, is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
And he has his friends, he had very important friends. And I'm sure that it was through these very important friends that he found this 8 acres to buy. And then God was always
At a bargain, no doubt.
on our side, because in those days, they leased the land for oil. And so Daddy was able to make I'm quite sure, a good many of the payments or pay for the orchard to the oil companies that leased the property for future possibility of having an oil well there. So here we, 10 children, thought we were very poor, lived with all the oranges we could eat. Daddy did not have the oranges picked until September, when the last of the season. When we went back to school, he had the oranges picked that were left. You know, after all, he was trying to make a living on the orchard. But he saw to it that we got all the oranges we could eat, and Mama cooked us the best meals that ever were, all very simple.
But very fast.
But simple, but every day we had a meal. During Depression, many people went hungry, but we ate.